Hello and welcome guys to this live stream. Today I'm gonna talk about some news stories, what's going on behind the scenes on my channel, and if you have questions you can leave them in the chat and I will answer them. So why don't we just get right into the first news story, which is provided by AMD, because they finally announced the first 2 Zen processor. I'm just gonna quickly show you the website from AMD. This is the page on the Zen architecture, and they made a little announcement video. They also invited some people to the press conference, and there they announced the first 2 processors. One is called Summit Ridge. It is an 8-core 16-thread processor and just catered to the mainstream high-end users like us, the enthusiasts that want the best of the best, but not quite like server stuff. It's I'm just gonna quickly look for the slide here in the video. Not that, this one. This is all the information we know so far. It is gonna have 8 cores and 16 threads, as I already said, and it's gonna be on the new AM4 platform. Until now, AMD hasn't brought out a new platform in like 5 years, so it is really time to get on a new platform. And this new platform will support DDR4 RAM, which is quite nice as it is faster than DDR3 and is kind of getting standard at the moment. And also it will finally adapt the PCIe Gen 3 standard, which on Intel boards has been there for quite a few years, and even AMD has shipped the graphics card with PCIe 3.0 for quite a few years. And so now that they have a new platform, it is finally time to get the new stuff. Also, they talk about next gen I/O, which is basically like probably M.2, USB 3.1, maybe Thunderbolt 3. They gonna have native support for that, which is quite nice, as you can't use these newer technologies on the current AMD boards. Also, the Summit Ridge processor is announced to hit the market in Q1 of 2017. Gone are the dreams of Zen processing in 2016, but hopefully it will be good. Also, they showed something really interesting, and that is a comparison, not this one. They showed the new Zen processor against a Broadwell E 8-core 16-thread processor. It most likely is the 6900K, but there is no confirmation. They also said that they ran both at 3.0 GHz to make sure that it is testing the performance per clock and not just overall performance. So this benchmark isn't representative of what is gonna be later, but it gives us about a bit an idea what we can expect. And what we can expect is quite a lot, as in this benchmark, which is the Blender demo, the Zen on the AMD testing circumstances, the Zen processor was a tiny bit faster than the Broadwell E processor. And if that really is true, if AMD gets releases a processor which is comparable to the 6900K, which is a really good processor, it is comparable to the top of the line processor of the last generation, and that's gonna be quite a big deal, as we weren't really expecting, as I talked last week, that AMD is gonna compete in that high of a price class and performance class. And if that really is so, it's nice. AMD, welcome back. And also we can really see that the consumers are excited as the stock prices for AMD, they went up by a lot in the last couple of days. Let's just quickly check what AMD stock prices are. And as we can see, they are at over $6, although it's Swiss francs right here, but the conversion is almost 1-to-1. So it's at over $6, and that's really quite a lot. If you go here, just in like February, it was like down to $2. Now also can remember like a tech talk where Jerry and Jay joked about AMD only being worth $1 per share. And so it is quite nice to see that they went up by a lot. And we can really use some competition from AMD, as Intel is pretty much dominant at the moment. And all around they are expecting a 40% improvement in performance over the last generation. And that's not really that important number, because the last generation is about 5 years old, and so that isn't saying a whole lot. So if Intel would don't release any new processors for 5 years, only rebatch old ones, then they could have a 40% improvement as well. So that's not quite so interesting. But overall, this is really interesting, and they also have a server processor announced, which is called the Naples. It has 32 cores and 64 threads, and this is gonna be quite nice. As if don't quote me on that, but I think Intel's highest core count is like at 22 or so. Of course, you can't compare the cores from AMD and Intel to each other, but that's quite nice. It was on stage, it was shown in a dual socket board, so we can at least expect dual processors with that, maybe 4, I don't know yet. And that's gonna be quite nice if AMD is able to release like good processors again. And this is gonna launch in Q2 2017. And I see Viper in chat has a question, so I have a question for you. If I'm building a custom PC, what processor would you recommend for me to get? I plan on using it for gaming and video editing. So if you wanna use it like right now, if you can't wait for Zen like early next year, then I would look at like the 6600K, or which is an i5, or the 6700K from Intel, the Skylake chips. Depending on what your budget is, those are like the best chips you can get for gaming. If you do only light video editing, then the i5 is gonna be more than enough. For gaming, the i5 is more than enough. And if you want something a bit better and have some more money, you can go with the 6700K. Also, if you decide to buy the K SKU, then you should make sure that you use a Z170 motherboard, so you can make sure that you use the overclocking feature, as on the other chipsets this isn't supported. And if you don't want to overclock, you can save some money and go with the non-K version, which is also fine if you don't want to overclock. And so, but AMD is not the only big company that has news. As you know, Nvidia has been launching quite a few graphics cards in the last couple of weeks and months, and your inbox is probably full with reviews of them. But they aren't stopping, and now they're putting the 10 series graphics card in notebooks as well. Precisely the 1080, 1070 and 1060, and later the 1050 Ti also, they go into notebooks as well. They are doing this like in the last generation with the 980, where they are putting a desktop 980 to a notebook. the way they do that is by binning the most power efficient chips out for the notebooks, and they also make a few adjustments to the specs, being that some of them run a bit slower than in the case of clock speed, and the 1070 has a few fewer CUDA cores. But overall, they should be within 10% of their desktop counterparts. And so we can expect to see some quite powerful notebooks that are able to deliver good gaming performance, even on a notebook. And now that they have also the 1060 in a notebook, they will be a lot cheaper as well. Previously, if you wanted a non-M GPU in a notebook, you would have to go with the 980, which is quite expensive. Can also show you the article here really quickly. There's not much to look at. You can see here that the 1060 is like clocked 100 megahertz slower than the desktop variant, but that's not really that big of a deal, as that's not the big performance difference. And there are also quite a lot of notebooks already announced with the new mobile graphics cards. All the big notebooks reseller will have a few notebooks in the lineup with this new GPUs. There's like a thing from Asus or so. There it's already, I think there are only leaks, but the laptop with dual 980s in them, which you can like dock on the water cooling system, which is like totally overkill and costs like $6,000. I'm not sure if that is announced yet or if it's just rumors, but as you can see, we can expect quite a lot. But also we can expect like thinner devices like the Blade or so to now have a desktop comparable graphics card and not a mobile one. And on the topic of graphics card, apparently Nvidia hasn't launched enough graphics cards in the last few weeks, and so they are launching another 1060. This time around it's a 3GB variant, which is gonna come at a price point of $200. And this price point doesn't come from somewhere. Of course, it is to compete with the RX 480 from AMD, which is also priced at $200. But it isn't just fewer memory that you get on the other 1060. It has also about 100 fewer CUDA cores. I think it's like around 1400 instead of 1500. Don't quote me on that though. And Nvidia is saying that it's going to be about 5% slower than a normal 1060, which amounts to around 3 FPS if you're targeting a 60 FPS. And that isn't really that big of a deal. Like the performance difference doesn't justify the $50 more, but if you game at anything more than 1080, the 3GB of VRAM will quite soon be quite limiting. So if you plan on gaming in 1440 or 4K anytime soon, then I would not recommend the 3GB version, as it is maybe it is a bit cheaper, but it will hurt you in the long run, as you will run out of VRAM, which then slows it down a lot. But if you're playing in 1080 and you don't want to keep these graphics cards for an eternity, then this is quite a good option, as at least right now in 1080 there aren't like a lot of games that use all 3GB of VRAM, and so this is a good option. And Nvidia is claiming that the 1060 3GB version at $200 is about 10% faster than the RX 480. Of course, I can't confirm anything right here, as those are just the numbers from Nvidia, and AMD would of course say exactly the same. We will just have to wait for the independent benchmarks to see what the performance really is. But I can see that Nvidia is getting quite close to AMD on the price per dollar, performance per dollar standpoint, and this is quite good. Also, I just noticed that this card is performance-wise basically the same as a 970, as it has about the same amount of VRAM, 3 GB instead of 3.5, but the performance of a 1060 is about the same as a 970. But you can see it is only $200, and the 970 was like 350 or 300. I don't know what the MSRP really was, but so it's a lot cheaper. And Viper is asking a question again. Do you know how much the EVGA GeForce GTX 1080 8GB VRAM graphics cards? Much about. It's what I'm looking at getting, but don't know how much about it. If there is one that's better, please let me know. So I know some stuff about it, and basically, if you want to go with a 1080, the difference between the different vendors is really slim. Excuse. And also, I don't have to screen share this anymore. It basically comes down to what you want aesthetically, and if you go with a better card, you said that the EVGA, I don't know which EVGA one you are talking about. There's like the super clocked, the super, I been not sure that super clocked, at least maybe super clocked, the classified, and Kingpin they haven't announced yet. But that's there are multiple options, so the performance will be almost the same, maybe like a few percent between the different, but you get like features like RGB, bigger heatsinks with quieter fans, or like a higher boost clock out of the box. If you want to learn more about like graphics cards and have some time to watch some reviews, I would recommend to watch some reviews over at Chase 2 Cents. He already reviewed quite a lot of 1080s, and you can watch it there. But I think the EVGA cards, they are really good cards. And now I know it's not the super clock, it's the For the Win that is also in the lineup this year. So if you go with 1080, then you can go with EVGA, or you can also go with the Strix, or whatever you like the best. And now I have some more topics that are more rapid fire kind of stuff. One of them is that Global Foundries apparently skips the 10 nanometer process and jumps straight to 7 nanometers. Those of you who aren't quite as much a geek as I am, the Global Foundries, they are producing like microchips, and those are the processors. And currently we are, like the Skylake, they are at 14 nanometers. And the Global Foundries, they had some problems with the 10 nanometer stuff, and they got pushed back quite a lot. So I'm honestly surprised that they are skipping something that they have problems with and is difficult, and go to something that is even more difficult. But they recently bought the 7 nanometer division from IBM, and maybe they have something that we don't know, and they already know how to work with the 7 nanometers, and so they go straight to that. I mean, it's even better if they can go to 7 nanometers that quickly instead of stopping by 10 nanometers, but let's just wait and see what's gonna be there. Also, one other thing that I wanna share with you is that HP is in the gaming PC market again, and they launched this, in my opinion, really good looking PC. You can have it as a finished pre-built PC starting at $1,800, which includes a i7 and a RX 480. And it goes up to like, I think, dual 1080s and lots of RAM and everything you want, which then costs, of course, quite a lot. And also you can have just this case for $600 if you want to build your own PC in it. And let me just tell you, I know it's personal preference, but I really love this case. It also has some quite nice features. I'm just gonna show you a few more pictures right here. You can see here there are hot swappable hard drive bays, and also you have like lots of compartments in here. Here you can see like the motherboard is here right in the middle. You can see the I/O here, and probably the power supply is somewhere behind here in this compartment. And here you can see a bit better inside with the compartmentalization. Also has great support for water coolers and stuff. Here is another view. You can see the hard drives that are hot swappable here. You can have 2 graphics cards in it. The motherboard goes up here. Then down here you can have your drives and your power supply. They are showing 3 120 millimeter radiators here, so you can have dual Fury X's and still have water-cooled processors. And this is one of the configurations that we can see here. There's one where you have the 2 Fury X's and still a water cooler for the processor. And let me just tell you, this, in my opinion, is one of the best looking pre-builds that you can get. Of course, there are like these boutique PCs that are water cooled, and I don't know, but those are like even more ridiculously expensive. So I really like this case. I know some of you probably don't like it at all. And they also launched a notebook in their Omen series. I'm not really much into gaming notebooks, so if you want to see a closer look at the notebook, you can check out the new video from TechSource. He did a video on the HP Omen laptop, so you can check out that if you want to know more about that. And one other like innovation topic is that MIT found out something again. They are always delivering us with new cool stuff, and this time it's about batteries. And as you know, the phone batteries we have usually don't last very long. They die quite quickly, and at the end of the day we have to recharge the phone. But what if I told you that we could actually double the amount of battery life we have with the same size battery? And this is what they did at MIT. They've found a way to, use the just normal lithium-ion batteries, which is already in your phone right now, and they replaced the graphite cathodes with lithium metal cathodes. which has previously been experimented with, but they didn't have like the correct method, and so these batteries got really hot and also sometimes exploded. So of course they never hit the market. But now the researchers at MIT, they found a way to do that safely, and so now they get double the amount of battery performance in the same size. And the good thing is that it uses the same manufacturing process. So they don't have to build new factories and everything to do that. And that's the way we could maybe see them as soon as next year. Of course, we have seen a lot of stuff like that, and not always was it as quickly as we thought it would be, but it would be quite nice. But of course, Apple wouldn't give us 2 days of battery, they would just make the damn phone even thinner. And we can then wrap it around our wrist because it bends so easily that they make it as a feature. But that's it for like the main topic right now. And Nicholas Skorsky, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that, I'm gonna butcher it anyway, asked in the chat why I'm only speaking English, and that's it, because I have gotten that quite a lot in the comments of people that want me to do the videos in German again, but some time ago I committed to it and I changed all my videos to English. And that's because I want to reach an audience all around the world. When I recently checked, I have viewers from about 180 different countries. And there's no way that I can do that with German videos. I also am mostly active in the American, or at least the continent of America, also Canada, community with the YouTubers there, and that's where what I watch, and that's the community I am active in. So I'm learning everything in English as well, so it's almost easier to talk about it in English. And I committed to it now, and I'm not gonna change back. Of course, there are some people that aren't that happy with it, but on the normal videos I still offer German subtitles for those of you that aren't speaking English that well. But of course I'm not gonna subtitle a whole live stream, that would be just ridiculous. But also, some of you might have seen the live stream of the HTC Vive unboxing that I did a couple of days ago. Actually, it was like, was it? No, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. And it ended a bit on a cliffhanger, and I actually thought I would start the stream again and then finish it. But I couldn't figure out what the damn problem was. I spent about 5 hours troubleshooting this thing, and I read like every single forum thread about this error online, tried about 20 different methods to fix it, reinstalled all my drivers, updated the BIOS, everything, but I couldn't get it to recognize the headset per USB. And so I did what was the last option that people were recommending, and HTC themselves as well, which is buying an PCIe add-in card with different USB chipset controller and 2 more USB ports on the back. I ordered this off Amazon, and it's gonna be like here in end of August, and then I'm gonna be able to hopefully get it working. And if that isn't the problem, I have to maybe RMA it, and that's gonna take a whole lot of more time, which I really don't want to do. I would rather be playing in VR right now and do a VR live stream, but I can't. Also, my holidays are now about over, so my time is limited again. I originally wanted to get the Vive in the holidays and have plenty of time to play with it, but between the shop where I bought it, they took a week longer than they said they would take to ship it, then I got it, and now it's not working. So everything got delayed quite a lot. But let's not end the stream on such a negative note. I actually have a positive note, and that's on Monday there's gonna be a new 3D printing video coming out. And I actually upgraded my 3D printer, which you can't see, but it is right here. And I put a new hot end and extruder on it, and now it prints a lot nicer. I still have some minor quirks that I have to work out, but the few test prints that I did, they look really promising. That's gonna be a fun video for you guys, and I'm gonna be doing some more 3D printing videos now that I have a printer that works properly, as the previous hot end just was really terrible, and in the end there came filament out of every crack in it, and it wasn't fun at all. But now with the new one, it should be quite a lot better, and then I'm gonna do some more 3D printing video, which I know you guys quite enjoy, and I enjoy them making as well. And so that's about going to wrap up the stream. If you are watching this later, then you can leave me a like down in the comment down below, and also leave comments what you thought about it, what I should do better. And so that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time.